Hi, Amy.
Heavy.
Last night was Match Me Abroad, Season 2, Episode 11.
Love and hate this at the same time because I know that it's coming to an end.
I know. I think we only get shows until the end of September. Oh,
Mm. Anyway,
yeah. Yes. Anyway, let's move on. Life continues. Before we dissect the drama this week, let's do a 1 and 2. 1, rate, review, and follow us wherever you listen to the podcast. 2, watch us on YouTube at 90 Day Fiancé. Honestly, and now we may begin.
what was your overall review or opinion of this episode?
I like that we're getting the storylines wrapped up. So I felt that it was satisfying in that respect.
I think I found it interesting overall. Almost vindicating in some points. Or at one point. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I enjoyed it. It seemed short, just like the
Yeah,
90-day UK yesterday seemed really
yeah,
short. I'm like, what? So we've
I
got it.
know.
It almost felt like the preview for next week was longer than the actual episode.
Not sure why that's happening. Let's talk about it.
I'm not
Beginning
sure.
with Sarah.
And EJ
Mm-hmm. It's the second date with EJ. He brings her a gift. Of course he does,
from
because he's
Valentino,
wise. He was wise and he knows that her love language is gift giving. What else could it possibly be?
very smart.
And not just gift giving, it has to be designer
Mm-hmm.
gift giving. Ooh.
What a gaudy keychain.
Not my taste either, but I appreciated that he figured that out about her pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they've been texting, they've been talking during this whole time. So presumably she has let drop the fact that she likes designer stuff. And he's done his due diligence, found the designer keychain, presented it in the huge bag with the little box. All good.
I think he did really well. This man continues to surprise me.
Me as well. I'm really impressed by EJ. But when he comes to see Sarah at the poolside, he has some bad news to deliver. To us, she already knows this. He's leaving in a couple of days to go to a bodybuilding competition. So he's not going to have that much time with Sarah. And he'll only be back at the end of this competition for 1 day in Singapore before she leaves.
But I wonder how long this competition is, because it looks like he needs to do a lot of preparation for it. I'm not judging him, just knowing what I know about these competitions is they need to cut for so long. They need to completely dehydrate themselves in order for their vasculars and their muscles to really come out. He didn't look like he had a competition right around the corner. And also, when you're preparing for competitions, because you're cutting so much and so fast, you become so depleted, you become moody. Most people become moody and almost like despondent. Like they don't really want to be around other people because like it's miserable. Like you're eating nothing but chicken and rice and vegetables. I mean, if you're even allowed to have carbs at that point. So I just something random that I wanted to point
Interesting.
out. Yeah.
Very interesting. So you may be suggesting that this is a ruse,
I think so.
that he had already decided he wasn't going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because why else would he not be doing all those things that you said he should be doing?
Mm-hmm. He also
Instead
wouldn't be
of going,
drinking.
going to the pool. Well, by that point, we knew that he wasn't going to be doing the competition because he announced it at the mother-daughter date.
That was later on that night, though.
Yeah, but anyway, him coming to the pool, sitting down with her to talk for a while, ostensibly is so that we can know he's not going to be around a lot. There is no opportunity for them to get to know one another all that much better because of the reduced amount of time that's available. Then we get this moment where okay, I had a really hard time with this. And I think it's just the reverse sexism. She's telling him to take his top off, to put his swimsuit on, jump in the pool. And then he's like, okay, well, I will if you do. Oh no, my hair, my makeup, I just did it. I'm not going. So you go strip off and give me a show.
Yeah, let me watch you while I sit here and look pretty. And also, did she not know that they were going to a pool? She couldn't have prepared and, put her extensions in a ponytail.
I didn't have any sympathy for her in this segment because I just felt like she was being impossibly high maintenance. You want to get to know this guy better? Be open, be playful, get in the pool with him, have some fun. Don't just sit on the lounger and go,
Oh, he's so hot. And I look so
oh my
pretty.
God. Anyway, she asks him about her glam. Is it too much for him? Can he handle it? He seems very accepting. I'm not sure if I bought it or not. for me, I would have thought EJ was more the kind of person who likes a natural look, not somebody who is obviously puffed up and enhanced, medically speaking. But he seems to take it all in stride. Okay, if that's what you want to do, I support you and you support me going on this competition, so called.
Yeah, quote unquote. But
Mm-hmm.
I found the way that he communicated was very mature, it was very articulate. He just seemed very emotionally mature. So even if it's not something that he believes, then man, he must be an excellent salesman. Not over the
Yeah.
top, complimentary, but not overly. It's really growing
He,
on me.
he's got some good human interaction skills.
Mhm.
He just seems like he's got an answer for everything, but it doesn't feel like a fake answer, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So they have this continued or next date with mom so that mom can grill him to find out more about who he is and whether or not he's good enough for her baby girl.
This bothered me. Like,
Mhm.
I think it was just before the date, well, the date with her mom. I don't even know how to say the meeting, I guess.
Yeah. Mhm.
She says that she's really not sure if he's all talking games, and I can appreciate the apprehension, but on the other hand, he's been very clear about what his intentions are. Has he given her any indication that his intentions are not sincere? And for him to make
Mhm.
this grand gesture, quote unquote, of not going to the competition just to be with her, is that not indication enough that he's willing to give that up to spend some more time with her to see if this is actually going to work?
It's very generous of him to make that offer. I feel like what you suggested at the beginning is probably what's actually going on, that he'd already decided. Because you didn't see any of the evidence that he is actually cutting right now and doing all the restrictions that he would need to put in place in order to compete. And yet at the same time, I don't want to think that he's the kind of guy who would lie about it.
It could be a production thing. Like maybe they had reached out for him to go on a date with her and he was like, "Well, no, I've got this competition coming up." They're like, "Well, you can't if you want to be on the show." He's
Mm,
like, "Okay, I just won't do it." And they're like, "Great, we'll add that onto the storyline." Cuz that
okay.
preparation takes months and months. Like when I was competing, powerlifting obviously not bodybuilding not the same, but I would be gearing up for the competition like 3 months ahead of time.
Well, back to the meeting with mom. She's asking him a whole slew of very tough questions, and he's completely unflappable throughout.
Mhm.
Props to EJ. He does extremely well. He performs under pressure. He's got very good answers. And like I said before, I don't feel like they're made up answers to try to fit into her ideal of what she's looking for. They seem genuine and real.
Yeah. The answers came too easy to him. And if he was trying to flub about, there would be more pauses. There would be more
Hmm.
ums. But
Okay.
he's just very clear, very concise with his responses.
And we had a couple of really nice gestures during this meeting. One was that he had brought flowers for mom because it happened to be Mother's Day. And the second is that mom invited him to come to Houston, which that's amazing. And then she used a couple of words to describe EJ, which I found interesting. One of them I completely agree with. Confident. Yes. Confidence in spade. The other word she's used was masculine. I was like, what does that mean exactly? Is that referring to the physical appearance? Is that something else? I don't know.
Because that's very
But
subjective.
it seemed to be complimentary. Like nothing that she was saying about EJ indicated that she saw any red flags. She was definitely happy that this guy was in her daughter's life. And then he announces that he's not going to the competition, and both mother and daughter are basically over the moon.
I had more questions.
I think he's a keeper. You have a question?
I have more questions. So
More questions? Okay.
he says he's been divorced for 13, 14 years. Okay. His most recent relationship ended a month and a half ago. But how long was it?
Then, yeah, no information there.
Is he a love bomber? 'Cause he says, "When I love hard or I fall hard," or something. Is he a love bomber? But we didn't get
No.
that information. And then again, about the competition is how often does he compete? Because I don't think that he mentioned it previously, but competitions are so expensive. And how often,
Mhm.
like, depending on how often he competes, like, is he gonna have to wait for the next, like, 6-month cycle before he can do it again? Is this gonna be another year? Like, how much of a compromise is this? Which makes me think that it was already decided that he wasn't gonna be competing at that point.
Yeah. Very, very plausible and quite likely, but we just don't know. We don't have the information. I
No.
just want to hope. My gut tells me there's something a little bit fishy about the timing of this. And he is not necessarily lying about it to Sarah, but definitely there has been some manipulation of the facts, probably by production, in order to facilitate this beautiful storyline of him giving up the competition and wanting to get to know her more instead of going wherever it was that he was supposed to go.
Mhm. And this was a traveling competition.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm not going to give up one of these traveling competitions for a date. It's just not not happening. Like, the amount of money, the amount of preparation, just
Mm-hmm.
the ener no. Anyway, can we please move on? Because that's gonna bother me.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that Sarah looks genuinely happy here. And I really appreciated the fact that she seems to be getting into the groove of being grateful for EJ, of liking him enough. I think that they're both going to be happy, at least in the short term.
I also think that her mom asked a lot of really good questions. So I think mom actually added something to this as opposed to Betty.
All right, let's move on to Harold. It is finally time for Harold to meet one of Amber's friends. This is a very big step for Amber, even though it's only one person
Mhm.
who she's only known for 3 or 4 years. At first, I thought, oh, is this going to be like her childhood friend? If it's her best friend and it's only one person, 3 to 4 years. Okay. All right. What did you think of Joe?
I thought she was so funny. She was very animated.
Yeah.
I thought she asked a lot of really good questions, though I thought she was a touch judgmental, but then I think she really redeemed herself. And I thought this meeting was so incredibly awkward. And then it just became so joyous.
Mhm.
I loved how she made fun of Harold's face when he ate the raw meat. I thought it was adorable. I'm really, really happy that this is the experience that Harold has had with her friend because I know how nervous he was. And I think Amber really went out on a limb to let him meet her friend because obviously, they move a lot slower in Singapore. So I just thought this was a resounding success. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. On the success front, it went extremely well. There were moments when I was very, very worried when they initially sat down and Joe said, I want to hear all about Prague. I was like, oh, that's a bit forward and blunt. Like, what are you expecting to hear? The entire story of Harold's heartbreak? That's a bit awkward. And I wasn't sure at first, based on the questions and the attitude and the emotiveness of Joe, if she understood that Harold was on the spectrum because he was definitely uncomfortable with how he was getting peppered incessantly with questions at the start.
I think
But
she was
then,
excited.
yeah, there was definitely a level of excitement there. And she was so enthusiastic about the meeting that that was contagious. But like Harold was saying, he finds it difficult sometimes to deal with people who are in your face all the time. He prefers to withdraw and be a little bit more quiet. So you could see him struggling.
Mhm.
Even though he was struggling, he did his best and he performed so, so well. He told a story about Michaela. He explained about having kissed Amber, which was a huge surprise to Joe. That was cute.
Joe's reaction was just, "What? You didn't
Yes.
tell me the most important part of all of this? What is
Yeah.
Oh my god." Like, she was just like your typical, like, BFF. "What do you
Hmm.
mean you didn't tell me this? This is"
And then
Wow.
I love the part where both Amber and Joe kind of turned to one another and started talking about all of Harold's great qualities as if he wasn't even there. You know, he's so smart, he's so funny, he's adventurous, he's so interested in you, he's so into you, Amber.
Mhm.
I mean, clearly everybody is on Team Harold, which is great. That's the way things should be. I was very happy. The only question mark at the end of this segment is what is Harold going to do in order to secure himself in this relationship with Amber? Because he really wants to solidify things in some way so that when he leaves, he knows that she is in a relationship with a capital R with him, whether that means girlfriend and boyfriend or engaged. We don't know,
Mhm.
but he definitely wants to take that next step.
I still think he needs to slow his roll with the engagement,
Hmm.
though I did wanna go back to the dinner. First of all, it looked absolutely delicious, and yes, I am hungry. Amber was like, "Okay, I'm gonna lean back and, Joe can go ahead. You can have, like, a quick fire question round or something," and his response was, "It's okay, I'm flame retardant, let's go."
Yes.
Oh my god, Harold, you're just so cute. And then when Joe starts asking about his autism and she's like, "I think it means that you're super smart and or, neurodiverse." And it was just like this huge positive thing. And then they started going back and forth about, all the great things about him. And I think that's when you could see him finally relax. Like, how beautiful would that be to have this person that you're very interested in and her friend just sit there and compliment you in front of you as if you're not
Mm,
even there? I think that's so beautiful. I mean, it could be awkward, but I think he really needed to hear that.
definitely needs the positive reinforcement, and
Mhm.
so far it's only been Dolly who's been able to deliver that to him, and it's always been tempered with something else like, "You shouldn't move too fast," or, "You shouldn't wear your suspenders," "You should be Harold 2.0." So it's really nice for him to finally have this unadulterated compliment session.
I thought it was beautiful.
Nothing else?
I don't think so. It was just all I can say is just it's just so cute and we all know how much I love Harold.
I just don't wanna go I don't wanna read on
Oh.
because Tony's next.
Well, I also don't want to read on. However, as you told me yesterday, we must.
Yes, we have no choice. Okay, here we go. Tony. First of all, I noticed 2 things on this date with Thais. 1, Thais is gorgeous,
Mhm.
absolutely gorgeous. And 2, her hair is lovely and it's long and it has 0 correlation to her ability to raise children.
That's a fair assessment. That's a fair
Thank you.
assessment. Did you talk to your
Thank you.
gynecologist to confirm that? Because I'm not sure you're a medical professional, unlike
Tony,
Tony seems to be.
Tony the medical professional, expert on all things women. Yeah. What did you think of her?
I thought she was beautiful. I thought she was talented. I thought she was funny. I think she gave him a chance and he quickly blew it. I think she had a lot more patience with him than I think I would have. Even just walking in on that date, he looked so smug. I think that's like the best way that I can describe his face is
Yeah.
just so smug. But first of all, I love that they went to a place called Batman Alley and that they were gonna go and do graffiti. I've always wanted to, but it's illegal. So, I will not be doing that. But I thought that that was a really fun and interesting first date idea, a great way for them both to exercise their creativity, their talent and or lack thereof. I love that he gave this big story about, this Ninja Turtle and he's walking the pig. And I'm like, well, isn't that ironic given the
Yes.
fact that you are a
Are a
pig?
pig.
And, the way that he was describing her, I didn't even notice the hair at first. I was just so taken aback by whatever else. And then he said that her skin is so milky soft. And my question is, does he want to friggin' wear it?
Ew.
Because that's what it seemed like. It would just, it was so creepy. I'm so glad he didn't say it to her face because that was really weird. And then when she brings up the fact that she has dogs and she was saying, I was really surprised that he wasn't interested in it. If he doesn't love dogs, that's a red flag. But didn't he have like one of those blind dates with someone who said that they had dogs or what?
It was his second date with the jujitsu
Ah,
woman
yes, that one.
who allows her dog to sleep in the bed, and he said he had an ex who allowed that, and he does not approve. It's not good when women equate dogs with babies. They get confused and they don't know how to raise children.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yes.
Can we go back to the pigs because
Yes.
this part was so funny. I also found it ironic that he was going to do a pig because Tony, big,
Mhm.
equal sign between those 2 words.
Yeah.
Also, the little story that he told was just ridiculous. Well, if you let a pig out into the wild, it'll turn into a warthog eventually. What the fuck? What drugs are you on, Tony?
And
Excuse me?
is a warthog
No,
still not
never.
a pig? And I also just like I wanted to just like grab my screen and shake it. Be like, the irony of him also being a pig, but at least a pig and a warthog has more hair than he does.
Just, ugh. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Not only is this guy not smart, he is so misinformed about just about everything, and yet he believes himself to be an expert. Oh,
And he
it's the
thinks he's
kind of
so good
face that
looking.
you wanna punch.
Oh my god. And
Oh,
you know how they do those little like the introduction where he's like on the beach and whatever And I think the first one was him, laying out like a beach blanket, and it was the most lazy laying out of a beach blanket ever, and then he lays on it as if he's so sexy. And then the
Mm,
second one was him with the umbrella, and he keeps
umbrella.
trying to stick it into the sand, but he can't really get it in there, so he just sits up all proud, like, "Dude, you were no."
Everybody's making fun of you, Tony.
Mhm.
Absolutely everybody. The sooner you understand that, the better, because then you can go get help and turn things around.
No, because he's a complete and utter narcissist.
Well, there's that. But we can always hope that some bit of reason gets through his tiny little brain and he actually wants to make a difference and change his life a little bit to become respectable, nice, decent human being. I have very little hope.
Is him not getting his hairline tattooed, is that not indicative of him being a decent human? I'm sorry, I can't even finish that
Yes.
sentence.
No.
The
No,
I
no, no, no. But this person was the perfect one to have his final date with because obviously it's his final date. The way that she started picking him apart
Mhm.
was fantastic. I love that she criticized his hair. And then it's like he can sense that she's not into him.
And
So
he
he
flips
starts
it.
at, yeah. And then then he's got to turn it all around. Oh, I'm the one who's rejecting her
Mhm.
because her hair's not long enough and blah, blah, blah. Like, just mwah, chef's kiss when she tells him, I like long hair on a man. Mm, that moment was so tasty. I, I felt so good.
Was really waiting for her to slice into him some more. But when they first met, it was broad daylight, and then when they were leaving, it was around dusk. So, like, I wonder if she did say a lot, but they cut it out. I'm just gonna live with my idea that she did
Hmm.
say a hell of a lot more than
Yeah.
what the editors allowed us to see. But I noticed the exact moment where he started to try to take control of the situation back, like, "Oh, you
Hmm.
don't think that I'm good looking?" What did he say?
He said, are you a flashy person?
No, it was before that because he's like, "What are you looking for in a man?" And she's like, "Oh, loyalty and blah, blah, blah." And his response was like, "Wow, that's basic. That's what every woman wants. Like, is there nothing else?" Like, "Oh, okay."
You know why I think he said that it was basic? Because he doesn't understand that values are more important than physical appearance. He's wanting her to say, "Oh, I'm looking for a guy who's buff, who's 6'4", who has a car and a house, blah blah blah."
Who has a
But
hairline?
she but she comes up with what you would normally expect, which is I want somebody who's kind, who's caring, who's funny, who's compassionate, intelligent. You are not. So he doesn't know what to do with that because those are not the qualities that he is looking for. He's not able to wrap his mind around the fact that there are other things than physicality with which to choose a mate.
And Louisa called it out from the very beginning. Like, she needs to remove the physical aspects from it, which is why they did the blind date. Why this woman has tried
Yeah.
so hard. But anyway, going back to the tooth, I didn't even notice. And even when he was talking about it, I couldn't
Yeah.
see it.
Me either.
I went to school with a woman who had a diamond tooth, and she was utterly insufferable. And that is in no way reflective of Thais, because I think that she's absolutely stunning. She has a beautiful personality from what we've seen. She seems artistic, creative, whatever. But that's what he was like. No, no. That's when he said, "Are you flashy?"
And it's so shallow. Maybe she just stuck a little sticker on her tooth. I don't know. Maybe she's just trying something out for the very first time.
Hmm.
Maybe it is permanent. It could be. Maybe she enjoys that. Maybe that's what Brazilian women do. I don't know. But the fact that he immediately writes her off because of this one tiny little physical detail, which is not even a part of her body, so it can be removed, tells you everything you need to know. This guy has impossible standards. Nobody will ever live up to them. And he himself is not a prize because he has such strict prejudices
Yeah.
and expectations of people.
I thought it was so awkward, but also so hysterical to see him just flip. Like when he started getting
Yeah.
the vibes that she didn't like him, then he was like,
Yes.
never mind. It's one of those, like, I'm gonna hurt you before you can hurt me kind of thing.
Mhm.
He's being more protective of himself. Well, again, that says more about you than it does about her, and I'm being like, but
Yeah.
then
I mean, he tries to tear her down, and she's not having any of it, and so she calls off the date. "So I'm tired. So tired. I have to go.
it's like
Let
6
me
o'clock
go. Go,
in
Thais."
Brazil because that's
Love it.
when the evening ends.
Not. Not even when the evening begins. So the date ends, and immediately my thought goes to, okay, Tony's not going to take any kind of accountability for this. And of course, he immediately blames Louisa
Mhm.
because Louisa has a problem. Louisa's setting him up with these loser women. It's nothing to do with him. It's all Louisa, Louisa, Louisa. Predictable?
Love that for
Yes.
him. He's gonna be alone and miserable forever. I mean, I wouldn't wish that on many people, but this guy, just based on his persona on TV, I mean, you put yourself on TV, you have opened yourself up to these judgments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Based on what he has shown us, sir, just please do the right thing and walk into a volcano.
Mhm. Even the fact that he can't appreciate it when a woman says to him, "Oh, I have 2 dogs." He can't say like, "Oh, that's cool. What are their names?" or "What kind?" or something interested. You don't have to like pets, you don't have to like dogs, but to show interest, and the way that he was completely flat when she said that she had dogs, and she picked up on that, I was
Immediately.
like immediately, she's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that's a red flag if he doesn't say anything nice to me about the fact that I have 2 dogs."
Yeah.
Right on,
And
sister.
you know that I
Right
don't
on.
particularly care for kids, but when people start talking about their kids, I ask questions, even if I don't care,
Mhm.
because that is a part of you and I care about you.
Yes.
So why don't you tell me about what's going on with you and your kids? So you're one of the few exceptions. Um, and I love all my friends' kids. I just don't love random people's children. So when we go to meet up with Louisa,
Yes.
she looks so, like, beyond done, like, angry, disappointed, disgusted, and I kept checking her hands, like, I thought she was vibrating with anger, waiting to have this conversation with him, and I honestly think that she was, because if you saw her coffee cup, like, at one point, it was, like, separated with, like, more coffee on the top and more cream on the bottom, and then it was, like, all mixed up, and I can't see it having, like, separated in that short amount of time, so I feel like she was just, like, frantically sitting there, just, like, stirring her coffee, just waiting for him to show up, but I love the way that she was talking about how Thais and she played the voicemail about, how that was the most awful date of her entire life, and she lists off all the reasons why. I loved it.
Me
It was
too.
it was beautiful cinematography. I don't know words.
Well, more audio, but
Yeah.
yes, yes. I love Louisa. She has been wonderful all season long, and she is spot on with this
Mhm.
one. Tony is the one who's damaged and
Oh, I
insecure.
love that.
That's classic projecting. He's the
Mhm.
one who has those things, and yet he claims that all the women he dates are that way. And of course, the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, the crème de la crème, the absolute joy of the whole season is going to be the moment when she fires him, which is coming very soon.
I love it. I love it. Even though I think that's why the preview seems so much longer, because I was like, "Oh, yeah, this yes, it's coming." And it just sipping on the tea.
I can't wait. I desperately want for Tony to hear the words, "You are not dateable."
Yes. I
That
wonder
would
how
be
he's
very
going to
satisfying.
react. I wonder if he has, like, an element of aggression in him. I wonder if he's gonna get in her face. I wonder if he's
Mhm.
going to throw insults at her. I wonder if he's gonna flip a friggin' table. I know she's protected. I'm not worried about her safety. I just wonder, like, how deranged is this man?
We will find out very soon. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I also loved it when she said that not only is he damaged, but he needs help. He doesn't learn. He doesn't open up. And just the way that she was saying it was just so, he doesn't learn. It was almost like through gritted teeth. Like she was so mad. And there could have been like a level of anxiety to that as well, because she dated a guy like that
Yeah.
and she might be anxious about confronting him. I hope she feels the support that we all have for her because she's
Mhm.
doing the right thing. She has done her job to the best of her ability. There are just some clients that you cannot help, and he is one of those.
Shall we read on? Let's lower our blood pressure a little bit, shall we?
I just got so excited about the fact that now it's like it's becoming a reality that she's gonna fire him. I think this is
I know.
phenomenal.
It's
And
the most delicious thing.
That Thais was so like strong within herself to be able to call him out on it and be like, "I don't like
Mhm.
a guy with longer hair.
Any hair.
I don't like a guy who has tattoos." I don't think she said that, but that could have been really funny too because I mean, he doesn't have like a classic tattoo. He has hair tattoos.
And not only does he not have hair, but he's got tattooed hair.
Mhm.
So pathetic.
I mean, that's even worse than a toupee.
Mhm. Yep.
That's that's so laughable.
Let's go to
Okay.
Amber.
Yes, ma'am. Let's do this.
Mhm. Yes, we start off with both of them snuggled up in bed in the hotel. She calls Keavan a stallion.
And yet they didn't have the sex.
They did. They did.
Your face.
They did. They did. They did. You know how I know?
Because she called him a stallion?
Well, okay, yes, probably. When I heard that word, I was like, okay, I know what you guys have been doing. It was when he got up, she was kneeling on the floor with her, like, forearms on the bed. She had this stupid, stupid grin on her face from ear to ear, and she was just watching him and saying, how he had a cute little bum. I was like, "This is the post-coital love haze.
Mhm. This
Nothing
is
else.
these are
This is it."
all of those happy hormone chemicals
Yeah.
that are
The
coming out.
pheromones,
Yeah.
the serotonin, all of it
Yeah.
is flooding her body. She is happy.
But she said they didn't have sex because sex confuses things. And
They did have
doesn't
sex, and she
confuse
is confused.
things. Yes.
She's confused. They did the sex.
But I also wanted to acknowledge that the place that they stayed at looked absolutely breathtaking.
Yes.
That building with all the ivy going up the sides. Oh, I love it.
Like a castle.
I can't. You know how I feel. Okay, anyway.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, then they move on to the archery. It's cute, I guess, that Keevan says, if I win, then you have to stop dating everybody else. But she wins, so I guess she's going to keep dating everybody else.
And again, with the super unique and fun date idea. This isn't dinner. This isn't, well, I mean, they've already done drinks at the pub and whatever, but I love that this is like adventurous, but it's not doing uh Brazilian jiu-jitsu on your first date or something. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot more chill. And have you ever done anything like that before?
Yes, I've
Yeah.
done archery. Yeah, a few times. It's fun.
I loved it. That was actually my intro into powerlifting because I was using a 40-pound bow, and the way that I was pulling it back, my friend was like, I need to get you into the weight room.
Wow.
Sorry, that was my humble brag. I suck at aim, though. We lost a couple arrows. But I think that they did really well, though I think that Amber also lost a couple arrows because when you saw his board versus hers, there were several missing. And sometimes,
Yes.
like, when they had the shot at her, you could see that her bow was slightly pointed a little too high. And I was like, girlfriend, you just have fun.
Yeah. I love that date too. What I found even more intriguing though was afterwards when they go and they sit on a bench and they're talking about the future, talking about the possibility of a long distance relationship. And he talks about living in Canada. So he has been looking into emigrating to Canada for some time, which means, excuse me, Keevan, you do have long-term plans. Why didn't you say anything about this before? It could have impressed her and us a whole lot more. Hello?
Maybe it's because it's not like a firm plan. It was just something that he's been throwing around, that he's been looking into. But now that he could possibly be dating a woman from the US, it gives him more of a reason to do it. So, he doesn't have much of
Okay.
a I don't know what I'm doing. I could do this. I could do this. But now he has a reason to do it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
I'm just disappointed that he didn't mention anything like this before when she asked, "What are your long-term plans?" or "What are your desires for the future?" He could have said, "Oh, well, I have this dream of moving to Canada and doing whatever, fill in the blank there."
But was that his dream? Because he just said he was looking into it.
Okay, stop nitpicking.
Sorry.
I just mean that he has a thought in his brain and he didn't show us before.
Mhm.
Why not? Let's go to Glenn because he is still in Amber's thoughts and they are still texting. They're still communicating.
Every day.
Uh-huh. And he is, unlike Keavan, living up to her expectations for good communication, which seems to mean a lot to her.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yes. I don't know. I still think that this guy is just a
Which
hunk of
guy?
marble.
Glenn?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a good vibe really about either one of these choices for Amber. I think something is lacking with both men. So I don't have a good feeling about her choosing Glenn or Keavan. I think she needs a third option, but I don't think we have enough time to introduce the third option at this point.
I think because we don't have much time left, my prediction is that she might not choose either one. And that would be interesting. But
It
like
would be a little sad.
it would be, but I would like to see her on another season because she's so bubbly, she's so fun, she's so outgoing. She's just so pure and genuine. And I also love the way that her hair just gets absolutely everywhere. And Keavan goes to give her that kiss and she's like, "Oh, you got a hair kiss." And it's not like, "Oh my God, my hair's in the way." Like she just lets it all out and she's so much fun. And that reminds me of when she was dancing with Glenn's dad, and she's just a little firecracker.
Mhm. Yeah.
I would like to have drinks with her.
Okay. Let's see if we can set that up.
Mhm.
Maybe in Ireland.
Oh, let's do
Mm.
it. Okay.
Okay.
Why don't we do our first 90-day trip?
Oh,
Can we
yeah, we
can
can
we
write
make
it off
gonna
with
say
our big
business
budget.
expense with no budget.
No budget. 0. 0 income. Negative income.
Negative
'Cause we
income.
have to pay
Okay.
for the podcasting software. Okay. Anyway, any other comments for the show or for Amber?
I I enjoyed the episode, obviously. I am very intrigued as to what's going to happen next week. The preview was so, I hate to use this word, but juicy.
Mhm.
Yes. We're going to see Tony get fired. We're going
Mhm.
to see Monica get put in a very awkward situation with Bruno and Bernardo.
Mhm.
Love this so much.
Yes.
It's going to be so awkward.
It's gonna be very, very awkward and I think very, very satisfying for us to watch. We
Do
have
you see this
2
face?
more left. I know, I know.
I'm really looking forward to it, like, actually.
That's why it's great and it's tragic at the same time. We only have 2 left.
Mhm.
Then it's done. Shall we wrap things up? All right. Before we go, if you're enjoying the 90 Day Fiancé Honestly podcast, please subscribe to or give our show a follow. And if you have an additional moment, please rate us and help other 90 Day fans to find the show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
See you next week.